Thank you so much. Well, a big honor here. David Marcus, VP of Messaging at Facebook, head of the Messenger platform. An honor to have you today.
Thanks for having me.
Can I ask you the question I've always wanted to ask you?
By all means.
How did you know, you were president of PayPal, how did you know that this was a big enough job for you? It obviously has proven to be enormous, but when you first took the job, I was like, this major guy's going to run Messenger? How did you know that?
I didn't know. It was definitely a bet, and I think Mark had a really very compelling vision for what messaging was going to be and how important messaging was going to be for the world. I just believed what he was saying and believed in him, and it's been 3 years and an unbelievable ride. But most people ask the question you just asked when I took the job.
Yes.
But it's been a great ride in the last 3.5 years.
Has it evolved differently than you thought it would? You're here at WPP, there's marketers, there's business leaders. Has it ended up being a piece of infrastructure in a way that you didn't anticipate? Did you think it would be more social and it's more infrastructure?
That's a good question. I think, no, it evolved pretty much in line with what I anticipated and what we built for. I think, it's never a straight line. So we opened up the platform for third parties about 19 months ago at F8, which is our big developer conference. And it's like so nice to be here today and talk to marketers from all around the world. And every single one of them is building for the Messenger platform because they're seeing great business results on Messenger. So that's very, very comforting and exciting.
Is the thing with messaging that text is more efficient, or is it AI? The trivial explanation is always young people don't like to talk on the phone, right? That always struck me as a silly explanation. Why is this a thing?
Well, I mean, it's a thing because people across all demographics, by the way, not only young people, now prefer to use messaging versus talking or making a phone call, sending an email. And even when we ask people if they would like to interact with companies on a platform like Messenger, over 64% of them across demographics and countries say that they'd rather message a company than connect with them, and 67% of them say that they prefer talking to people on a messaging platform rather than calling them or emailing them. And so it became the platform of choice for communications between people in groups. The capabilities of a platform like Messenger as compared with texting, traditional texting, is so much different because you can do so many more things in a richer way, and it's more expressive, and you can upgrade to live video at any given point in time. So people choose more and more to communicate on Messenger, and as a result, it becomes a great platform for businesses as well, because businesses need to go where people are.
What is the scale of the revenue opportunity, and what is the way Facebook will make money off of it? Will it be charging for services to businesses to do customer service support, or will it be advertising, or what will it be?
It will be all advertising. We have 1.3 billion people who are actively using Messenger every month. And the ability for you to build a custom experience to interact with your customers on Messenger and actually drive the business objective that you want is what actually makes Messenger a successful platform for businesses. And if conversations with people on Messenger are actually more effective than you opening a mobile web page, then you'll buy advertising. We have click-to-messenger ads, messages as an objective in our ad tool, so you can buy ads that direct people to opening more conversations with your brand inside of Messenger, and that's our business model.
And you just rolled out 2.0 of the platform, right?
2.2, yes.
2.2, sorry. Will this end up looking like what we've seen in Asia with WeChat basically being the defining platform for where people do almost all of their internet activities? Will Messenger become like Facebook? Will it become a subsuming social platform, a commerce platform, the everything?
I don't know. I think the situation in China is a little different because everyone moved to WeChat as the chat platform, and it became almost the operating system of China, where you built your apps. You don't build an app in China, you build an experience inside of WeChat. I think for us it's really different because we have a very good, thriving app ecosystem, and you use these apps for the things that you use most often. But we still have a major problem, which is that interactions between people and businesses are still completely broken. 65% of the interactions are conducted over the phone, which is terrible. I don't know the last time you had to pick up the phone to call a large company. But
5 minutes ago to try to deal with my flight,
there you go, and that ranks pretty high up in the things you don't want to do.
2-hour wait time, they told me,
There you go.
Okay.
So now, for instance, we have a lot of airlines that are on Messenger, and you could have probably messaged that airline on Messenger and solved your problem in 10 minutes.
Yes.
And so that's the value. If we migrate conversations, interactions between businesses and people on a platform that's 10x better than the next best.
Well, but a lot of times though, when you do, I mean, I'm not saying Messenger specific, I'm saying especially when I use their own pop-up messenger, then when you get to the point where you can solve the problem, they tell you you've got to pick up the phone and do it. So is that a security issue, a compliance issue? What is the concern around that?
It's a business process issue, and we're working through that. So, it happens less and less on a messenger platform, and we're actually slowly but surely moving to provide a much better alternative to website live chat. Last week, to your earlier point, we announced a new version of our platform that enables any website to embed Messenger on your website. So you can start a conversation on your website, but continue it when people have left your website on Messenger, which is unbelievably powerful. And so the point you asked around like, oh, now call us, is all a business process thing, and in the last 18, 19 months, as we've opened up the platform, all of the major call center providers have plugged into Messenger to basically enable the call center agents to answer questions directly on Messenger, and it's not the social team on the chat that's now transferring to the actual care team where you need to call.
Yes, it's all there.
Actual care team.
David, you've said that you want Messenger to replace iMessage on iOS and I guess texting or chat or whatever it is on Android, right? I would argue that Messenger is a superior experience to iMessage. That's my personal belief. But the fact that iMessage is so deeply embedded in the device, it's one of the few places where Facebook is disadvantaged in terms of competition. How can you achieve that vision given that scenario?
Well, I actually didn't say that specifically. The question at that time was, do you want to be considered as one of the primary messaging platforms that you use? And the answer is yes. And there are different use cases. So the beauty of having 1.3 billion people that you can message right now without a phone number is a very powerful thing, because it's a use case of you not ever needing a phone number. And I remember, like, before actually taking this job and running Messenger, I used to be really obsessed with keeping my contacts and my phone book like up to date with every contact.
I can't do that at all.
I don't do that anymore. I don't need to do that anymore. And so with Messenger, you have the ability to reach all these people, and then groups are really the differentiating thing. So if you create a group today on Messenger, no matter where you are, on Android, on iOS, on a desktop, it works the same way flawlessly. No more, green bubbles. Like, it actually works all the time. Sending photos is really fast. Sending videos is really fast. You can use polls. You can pay each other. You can upgrade to a group video chat live, and use AR effects and all these things. So, like, group coordination, communication, creating groups with friends and family, etc., is the place where Messenger is really differentiated, and we see the adoption of groups on Messenger being the guiding.
My last question for you is that we've seen a lot of the people that are telecom infrastructure want to move into content. Now, we can have the debate whether or not Facebook's content or not, but when you look at AT&T trying to do Time Warner, right? When you look at Verizon going into and buying, Yahoo and AOL, is Messenger Facebook's way of being telecom infrastructure?
I don't think about it that way.
Or the telephone system.
Think about it that way. I think the real question is, like, what's the role Messenger plays inside of the Facebook family of apps and experiences. And when you look at the core Facebook experience, it's really broadcast. It's like you go there when you want to find content or when you want to find out what your friends are up to. And that's like a more public feed of information. Messenger is more private, but you need both of these things to coexist and basically reinforce each other. Because you see a piece of content, you want to share it with your friends and talk about that piece of content with your friends, then you will do that in Messenger. And so those two things are actually completing each other really, really well. And we're seeing it now with our ads product, where you can buy click-to-Messenger ads in Newsfeed and Instagram, now more and more inside of Messenger itself. But like you actually discover a product in Newsfeed or Instagram, and then you start a conversation in Messenger with your customers, and you convert them right there at a rate that's much higher than mobile websites. And so you see that the function of those two surfaces like really reinforcing each other, and that's how we're thinking about it.
All right, well, David, it's been a pleasure having you today. We are following it with rapt attention. Please come back, and thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. David Marcus, VP of Messaging Products at Facebook. Back to you guys at the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you so much, John Steinberg, with David Marcus, VP of Messaging at Facebook. Fascinating stuff.